Okay, now I'm going to take phone calls, but I want you two gentlemen to think about your answers to that same question. Why are you getting into public service? Why have you been in public service? Let me go to the phone lines with Frankie. Frankie, thanks for calling off 63rd with Garrard McClendon. Hey, Frankie, talk to us. What's on your mind?
Okay, my question is for Mr. Baskett. In the defendant, you said that you feel you can do a better job. How and where will you begin first?
Well, Thank you, Frankie.
First of all, Frankie, I would begin with Walmart's. Let me just reach down here. I got 5,295 signatures from young people out of the 16th ward and the surrounding community said they want a Walmart's on 63rd to go to work. And I met with Walmart's November 17, 2009, and they said they was willing to come in here and build a Walmart on 63rd and Halsted, across the street from this great school. But the only thing that was standing in their way was the alderman. It would create 400 permanent jobs at the Supercenter Walmarts, and I want to start with that aspect of it first. The second aspect of that, we got a lot of facilities around here, including the brand new facility, the police headquarters down there by White Sox Park. Now, you know they're always in the mood for having somewhere to park. But if you take that parking space for the 81 games they have at White Sox Park and charge $20 a park, you can generate $200,000 a year in new revenue just for having a place in the park. As you know, the United Center is not far from what? Malcolm X. Parking space. So you got to utilize some things to generate some things. So what I can do better, I can come up with some innovative ideas to generate money with those banners on those poles, to put new revenue inside the coffers so we won't have that budget gap. So we can put more police officers on the street as opposed to some cameras in the sky, put more money into our schools so our children have some books and some computers as opposed to coming home with memory graph sheets and they don't know anything. I mean, the average school should have computers in every room, including the basement. We don't have that. We have to generate new revenue in order for these things to take place.
Che, Rhymefest Smith, before I go to back to phone lines, let's talk about the clarity of your candidacy. All right. You have decided to take a hiatus from arguably one of the most pristine occupations that any human being could imagine, being a recording artist, being a Grammy Award-winning recording artist, being a writer for Kanye West, who sold millions of records. Why in the hell are you taking a hiatus to run for 20th Ward alderman? People will be like, come on, he's crazy. He got a Grammy on the mantle.
First of all, Kanye helped to fund our field day operation. Lupe Fiasco came and helped give out turkeys door to door in the 20th Ward and paid for that. We've had artists get involved in a way that they never have in community. So I, by the grace of God, have been able to serve as a conduit to my community, and that starts with love. The number one thing that we have not had in our communities is a love for community. People say, well, I've served and I've been around and I have the experience, but where's your love? Because if you had love, we wouldn't have these high number of foreclosures, vacant lots, crime. Where's your love? We wouldn't have over-the-table envelopes. And I'm not talking about squishy love that melts in between your fingers. Where's your real love? And Dr. Cornel West taught me a thing about love, you know, and as my mentor. And I asked him, I said, where are the Malcolm X's today? Where are the Dr. Kings? He said, if you want to find them, brother, go home. Get out of the studio and start recording rap music. Go home and look at the community organizer. Look at the minister. Look at the mother. That's where you'll find Malcolm X and Sojourner Truth. I came home and I found the love. And that's why I'm running.
Where is your love? My producer's in my ear saying that's a new song from Che Rhymefest Smith.
I think will.i.am already made it.
There we go. Hey, let me go back to phone lines. I'm going to Reverend Smith on the phones. Thanks for calling off 63rd. Reverend Smith, what's on your mind?
Well, Brother Garrard, first I want to thank you for being such a courageous revolutionary to have three wise men of the three worst wards in our community standing up to finally do something for the liberation and the struggle of our people. I am tired of seeing young men get gunned down and mothers crying and knowing that their children have a future. So first I want to thank the brothers that's running, Brother Shea Smith, Brother Harold and Brother Sawyer. I support all three of them, but Brother Shea will be getting my vote. Yes, so I just wanted to say that I'm so glad that our people are finally standing up to do the right thing.
Thank you so much, Reverend Smith. You know what? People standing
now,
up.
do you know who Reverend Smith is?
No, sir.
That was one of the opponents. That was one of the opponents. That's Reverend Andre
Smith. There we go.
There we go. Opponents. Now look at how the community stands together for the community. He's not sitting up talking about what happened. What Andre Smith said, what can we do to make this ward better? There were 3 young people killed in 3 days in our ward last week. They weren't talking about that. They were talking about rap music. But rap music didn't make those kids get killed, and they didn't cause the unemployment and the foreclosures. When are we going to talk about us, the people, and our issues? So I applaud Reverend Andre Smith for standing with the community, and he's also one of my checks and balances.
Okay, hold up, Mr. Baskin. I'm going to go down the row again here with this question. Mr. Smith brings up foreclosures. I drove through all 3 of your wards today, and Lord have mercy, you talk about, look, if I don't see another boarded up building or foreclosure sign, I will be so happy. What does an alderman do to decrease that? I'm tired of rolling through the South and the West Side seeing boarded up buildings. That's just flat out trifling. And it makes me sometimes ashamed of being black because I know we're better than that. I know we're better than that. You know, I know that we're better than good, better than most, and sometimes better than that. But when you roll through these wards, you are seeing the utmost. You are seeing the ilk of illness. You are seeing just the epitome of trifling. So, gentlemen, we all suited up today. We're looking good. We're smelling good. The 3 of you can afford conditioner to put in your hair. So can I. But you know what? That doesn't mean jack when your community is boarded up.
That's correct.
Roderick Sawyer, help me out, man. I mean, just help a brother out. Why? I mean, we are like, look, King was shot in 68.
Yes.
Malcolm X was shot in 65. John F. Kennedy was taken out in the early 60s. It's 2011 and we still living in jacked up circumstances. How does the alderman change that in your ward?
With leadership. First, you have to stand up. First thing you can directly attribute to take care of are the abandoned buildings. You know, you take it in steps. There's foreclosed buildings that are being boarded up. There are abandoned buildings that have been in our neighborhood for years. Once you clear all those up, and I'm a big believer in information. You know, I think that we should have something more transparent. For example, if you have a building that's responsible, we can't go, we're not going to go into the mortgage crisis. We all know what happened. But we have to resolve it now. You know, we can't place blame. If you have an abandoned building or a building that's no longer occupied, it should be registered, whether it's by that bank, whether it's by that real estate company, and there should be a fee, an annual fee, as long as it's abandoned, and it should be placed on some kind of website where I can look at it. For example, if I'm a real estate professional and I'm looking for something, at least I have a place where I can go to contact that person. Hey, I may want to buy that building. Yeah. You know, what we have to do is reactivate these properties. We can't sit here and blame the mortgage mess on, because it is a bad situation, but we have to do something about it.
Okay, so we have to reactivate these properties.
We have to reactivate
Hal
them.
Baskin, what do you do in your ward when you become the alderman, you're driving around in your nice car and you see boarded up buildings, what do you do?
Make the Department of Housing do what they need to do in terms of abandoned property that's been confiscated. Make the mortgage company and the bank more accountable. I'm working with a group now called Action Now. We're trying to put some legislation together, have a bounty on those properties. Those properties that are clean and dirty and filthy and unboarded up, if they report it in, they can get a bounty from the fines and fees that the city charged them. So that'll make them more accountable to cleaning them up and maybe putting them back on the tax roll. So I'm working with a group like that. Also, we're working with other community groups just to find those buildings that are unboarded up and board them up because they're unsafe. I have several on my mother's block. I have several on my block that we have been attending to and talking to the Chicago Police Department, the housing venue of CAPS, and they've been very supportive of that, but they don't have the mechanism whereby they have all the information of where this property is. Most of that property, you don't know it. It's in trust,
Yeah.
It's over here, it's over here. You can't find out who owns it. So you can't do that. Because if you go on the property, actually you're trespassing.
Yes.
So it's the idea of pushing legislation like that through city council so we can find out who the owners are.
Good.
So I'm saying, and make them do some things.
Reactivate, reinvestment. Chase Smith, boarded up buildings,
Yes,
you become alderman, what do you do?
Yes, sir. First of all, we have to find out who all owns what. And we have to stop acting like everybody in the community is poor and doesn't have any money. There are people in the community that want to invest that can't find out who owns that lot. They can't find out who owns that building. There are buildings in our ward that have, I found one building that I wanted to buy myself, and they said, well, 3 different banks own 3 different units in that one house. So now you have to find each bank, and each one wants $40,000 a piece, which is more than the value of the whole property itself. So we have to sit down with the servicers, the lenders, and we have to untangle those knots. We have to make it one unit that a person can afford and buy, and we have to make sure that the people who own property in our communities are from our communities. Because one of the problems we have is that people own properties and then go back to their side of town and the money's not rejuvenated and they don't care what happens with the property. So we have to get the data, we have to know who owns it, and we have to untangle the knots. That's what I'll be working on.
Slum absentee landlords. Rhymefest Smith says, get rid of them. Gentlemen, I'm going to thank you for being on the show tonight. Let me say this quickly. Willie Cochran is the opponent of Chase Smith in the 20th Ward. Joanne Thompson is the opponent of Hal Baskin in the 16th. And Fredrina Lyle is the opponent of Roderick Sawyer in the 6th Ward. Predictions. Who's going to win the 6th Ward aldermanic race?
I am. Roderick Sawyer.
Who's going to win the 16th?
It's going to be Hal E. Baskin, the champion of the people, by the people, for the people.
Let's see, you politicking on my show. And what about Chase Smith? Who's going to win that 20th Ward?
54% of the vote, Rhymefest Smith, history is made.
You heard it here, folks, on Off 63rd. Gentlemen, thanks for being on the show. We appreciate you. You've been watching After the Show, Off 63rd with Gerard McClendon, Chicago, from the beach to the burbs. Hey, continue the conversation. Give me a call, 773-487-1352. You can also hit our website, www.off63rd.com. Hey, everyone, have a good evening. Take care now.